everyone, welcome back to another episode of The Breakfast Nook show with Sabi-Steph. I'm your host, Stephanie Chiamaka Onobi, aka Sabi-Steph. And on this show, we celebrate unsung heroes as we listen to their inspirational stories of how they've turned their dreams into reality. On today's episode, we have a phenomenal guest. She's the driving force behind creating unforgettable events and experiences in Dallas, with a passion for perfection and a knack for creating or assembling the best team. Welcome with me, the face, the brains behind Dubem Dependable Event Staffing. Thank you. Welcome to the show. I know you're a busy woman, and I appreciate, no, for real, she's a busy woman, so I appreciate you carving out time to talk with us on the show. So, can you briefly tell us about yourself, starting with your name, because I thought she was Dubem. I called her Dubem for her number is still saved as Dubem on my phone. So can you introduce yourself, starting with your name, where you were born, where you were raised, how your childhood was like, stuff like that.
Sure. So my name is actually Chidinma. Chidinma is my first name, last name is Ottih. And people do call me Dubem, and I do answer. And actually, I was born and raised here in Dallas, Texas. Oh. My parents actually migrated from Nigeria, of course, as you can see by the name Chidinma. Dubem is actually my son's name. Yes. So I named the business after my son, Dubem's Dependable Event Staffing, and he knows that he is the young boss of the business.
Well, how does he go about, like?
He'll be like, oh, mommy, that's my dependable. Or, mommy, are you going to my events? I'm the boss, you know. So he knows. And I named the business after him about 2 years into being familiar with staffing. And so at that time, he was like a year and a half. So as he's been growing, he's 5 years old now, and he'll be 6 next month. He understands that something is named after him, okay. So he knows it's his. So Dubem is actually my son, and I'm Chidinma.
Does he understand the gravity, though? Like, this will be his someday, and, he'll be responsible for this? He does, and I say that because anytime I'm going to an event, he knows what it encompasses. And sometimes we are guests to some of these events. Okay. Some of our family, sometimes it's family events, family parties. So he sees what his dependables are doing. And when he comes in, they do greet him, So he sees what he's doing. We even have had parties where he'll go up there and try to serve when it's actually self-serve. And it's like, don't worry, but he knows what it entails. And he sees how hard I work, so he's gonna grow to understand it's gonna take more than just 1 or 2 steps here and there. Exactly. Awesome. So let's talk about the journey. Did you go to college first? And did you study hotel management, or, we just want to understand, like, at what point did you get into this? What made you move into this?
So the fun fact is, I consider myself a super educated serial entrepreneur.
Oh, yeah.
So actually, my passion since childhood has always been healthcare. And so you asked me first if I went to college. Yes, I did.
Okay.
But before I even went to college, I actually was an entrepreneur. I braid hair.
Okay.
So I've been actually braiding hair since I was in elementary school.
Oh, wow.
And so before I even went to college, or my first job was in college, and that was like my last year and a half, and I became a resident assistant in the dorms. So I was the person that did hair on campus. I was the person that did hair in elementary, middle school, high school. So I had an idea of entrepreneurship from childhood.
Okay.
And so going to college, I actually was that person that wanted to be a doctor. And so what happened was, I went to school, I got a degree in biology, and things went left and right. So I did not pursue medicine. However, I did get a master's degree in healthcare administration.
Okay.
And after that, I still am a more recent graduate of nursing school. So I have 3 degrees. on top of being an entrepreneur. But what started the journey of event staffing, which obviously has nothing to do with healthcare, right, is during my wedding in 2017. I had a lady who's a prominent caterer in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, who was going to do one of the cocktail hour setups for my wedding. And when I had my first meeting with her, she was trying to get to know me, of course, and she got to know that I'm a busybody. So she asked me, she was like, she and another one of her catering partners, they're often looking for people to, help them, servers. Do you think you can get us people if we need them? And I said, yeah, because doing hair, I always had my own assistants.
Oh, okay.
Yes, so I'm like, my assistants can assist them and we can all make a little change, right? So I worked with her and her partner for 2 years until I got my own gig. Somebody just posted something on Facebook and said they're looking for servers. And one of my good friends knew that was something I was into through, the other party. And when they posted my name, they reached out and I was like, wait. So if they're reaching out, that means I could tell them how much I would charge, not somebody telling me how much they're going to give me.
Right. I can cut off the middle person.
Yes, and this is direct. So we did that and it went well and I saw how much I could make on my own. And it turns out it wasn't even like the usual party or wedding that we're used to. It was a concert. It was a prominent concert. So we were like the hosts of the concert.
Okay.
And so 6 months down the line, I took a leap of faith. And that was in August of 2019. I took a leap of faith and registered my business.
Oh, wow.
And then I had my first independent booking 2 months after that. And it's been a wrap. This is 2024 now. And 2020, of course, we know was COVID. So there was kind of like a little break here and there. But after that, we've just pretty much taken it by storm. We went from having one event a month to 2 events a month to now we're having 5, 10, 15 events a weekend.
Oh, a weekend? So how do you do it? Like, do you have a team that, some people go to this event and, okay.
Yeah, so typically what happens is based on availability, when a client reaches out, based on availability, I will see if it's an event that I am entitled to be at. And the reason I say I'm entitled, there are some events where there could be 700 guests, and of course you would need a director there to direct a team that can carry 700 guests, which is typically a team of at least 30 people. Okay. And then I also have team leads that are assigned to each event as well.
Oh, wow.
So you would have team leads and then the lead will manage the rest of the team for those events. And I just have a rolling list of staff. And once we get inquiries, I send an email out and staff lets me know their availability. And then if we don't have the availability, I will have to let the client know, my apologies, but we're not available for your date.
Oh, wow.
Or I can give you this amount of people, but we would have to make some tweaks because we also like to work with efficiency. Okay. So we don't like to lower our number. We like to have a good number so that, it works for the event overall.
Okay, so is that like a requirement from what's the word now? The government body that licenses your business to have a certain amount of servers per a certain amount of guests at an event?
Sure, okay. Great question. So my team and my company, we are all certified in food handling.
Okay.
And so one thing about the certification, it teaches you, especially in hospitality as well, is how many guests that a server or a host is entitled to hold, like for the state of Texas, for example. So we like to go by that number, but of course with Nigerian, most of our events prominently Nigerian, Nigerians tend to be kind of, 10 servers is too many, and it's like, well, how many food do you have on your buffet line? So with that being said, it's like, okay, if we don't go by that number of guests according to the state of Texas, right, we like to go by, okay, how many food do you have on your buffet line? If you have 20 food items on your buffet line, you need 10 people because you need one person for every 2 dishes. And that's our standard.
Okay.
You know, we have some people who have called us before and said, hey, we need 5 servers. We get there and there's like 25 foods. And it's like, yeah, that was very wrong. But we know that for next time that won't happen again, you know. But we typically give our best suggestions so that we avoid any issues, because nobody wants the buffet line hanging out the door, you know, or you don't want your guests getting angry because they haven't gotten food yet, you know, things like that. So that's our governing body standard.
Okay, and that's to maintain a certain, I guess, level of quality.
Sure.
Yes, at your events. Which, yeah, she staffed my traditional wedding, and it was wonderful. I didn't get to see them in action because I was behind the scenes, but I got so many lovely compliments. You know, they were fast, they were very professional and very cheerful too. You know how you have some people like serving you and they're like, what do you want and stuff. That was none of that. You know, they were so cheerful throughout the process. And if you've been at Nigerian events, which you're used to, it can be so stressful. The people there can be so like overbearing. So to maintain your smile throughout, you know, it speaks to the level of quality and the training you put into your staff as well.
Sure.
So do you have like periodic trainings on, you know, the expectations you have, you know, from the staff and the leads that manage the staff?
Sure. So, and thank you for that reassurance, because we do operate on, we don't take for granted how the service that we offer and what we present to our guests or to our clients. And the truth is we have not had an official training, in-service training. Training is ongoing. So it's like event by event basis. So the leads are training anybody that is kind of confused at a point in time, or if there's feedback that we receive from certain events, you know, oh, you're gonna get an email, you know, or you're gonna get a phone call, or, you know, we'll just have a come to Jesus meeting and discuss some, you know, house rules per se. But based on how I was trained under the other caterer for those 2 years, she kind of taught me the importance of not accepting the bare minimum in team members. So I've been able to pass it along to my team as they've been growing, as the team members have been growing as well. And then of course teaching the team leads that whatever you know I would take, add your own twist to it. And then, or what I would not take, add your twist to it and handle as such at the events.
Okay. Every entrepreneur faces challenges. What were the major hurdles you had to scale over, and how did you overcome them?
Yes, so the major hurdles I had initially was staff. You know, I come up from a big family myself, so I have 2 sisters. So initially my 2 sisters were always game. You know, those were my number 1 staff, okay? Were my 2 sisters, and even now they're my 2 leads, you know? And so, but staffing, so one way that I overcame the staffing is I had to get creative. You know, social media platforms, I would post that we're hiring, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, things like that. And then eventually, as it just grew, you know, word of mouth. And what happened was I got a good, like I have a niece of mine who attends school in Denton, and college students are always looking for work. So, you know, once she went to school, she was able to introduce my niece, and my 2 sisters were my primary staff initially. So once my niece went to college, she was able to introduce her friends to the job, you know, and that's how it grew. And so now it's just like word of mouth. I went from having maybe a team of 5, and now we actually have a rolling list of about 85.
Oh, wow.
So I'm grateful for that. But staffing has always been initial. And then the second thing I would say is being the owner of the company. I'm also everything, you know, accounts payable, you know, social media, marketing, scheduling, all of that. And basically making my staff to understand that you do have one person that does everything. So yes, I strive to make sure you get paid a week out, but you might have to give me an extra day or two sometimes because I have a family to balance in the midst of that too. And then of course my new role as a nurse, working in the hospital, and I am practicing as a nurse too. So as a new role as a nurse, working as a nurse, running the business, and of course managing staff. But everything comes with its territory. So it's just a matter of finding some kind of balance here and there.
That's a lot. Let's talk about work-life balance. Like, in this case, work, business, family life balance. How do you do it all? Like, because in this society, like in America where we live in, there's no time for anything. We don't have a village as per se. That village, they tell you that it takes to raise kids. To raise kids. I'm still looking for that village.
Not here.
Like, not here. So how do you juggle everything? Because you have little kids too.
Yes.
So
the fun fact is that, of course, everybody prays for a partner that is understanding and works with you. Oh my gosh.
Bless his heart.
He is very understanding. Now, the thing about it is, he's a business connoisseur himself.
Oh, wow.
So he knows what it means to like hustle. But he understands, he's one of those dads that's hands-on with the kids. And he cooks too. Okay, so you have those homes that's like the woman gotta cook this. Not to say I don't, but those areas where I fall short. Oh, and his food is good too, But to have an understanding partner, that's number one, And then number two, of course, we don't have that village all the time, but I was fortunate to at least have my niece here with me and also my aunt here with me too, that live in house, as well as my sister. So I have 3 in-home people that I can juggle. But the thing is, everybody has their own schedule. So those times where you can't balance everybody's schedule, that's why you be like, you know what? When you send those staff to that event, we're going to operate on faith. And we're going to hope everything goes well. Because we know we know the kind of work we do, and we know the kind of work we strive to give our clients. And sometimes we're our own worst critics, but we operate on faith. On those days where, hey, the schedules don't align, we just say, you know what, y'all, just go do your best, even the youngest ones, I say, hey, I want you to take charge today, and I want you to tell me how you did in running the team. You give them that. Empower them. And then before you know it, they're like, wow, that wasn't too bad. Oh, wow, that was a lot. But hey, it's a learning experience. But yes, a solid partner for sure. And like I said, we're both business connoisseurs, but it also helps that he cooks and he'll feed the kids and bathe them and do all that too.
That. Do you guys have like time offs, like vacation time? Do you ever, or even spa days, like?
Thank you for asking that, because so when it comes to days off, what happened recently was I noticed that I myself, because my leads have become very busy as well. Everybody has their own schedule. So of course I'm the business owner. So I found myself, I was working events 3 weekends in a row, 4 weekends in a row, and my kids started missing me. They're like, oh, mommy, another event, So I had to tell myself, you know what, if the kids are noticing, that's an issue.
Yeah, keep that honest.
They're honest, So I had to tell myself, what's gonna happen? I'm gonna put a full stop. There's gonna be the final event of the year of my own that I would have to attend, and I'm gonna cut it off there. And that was a final event that we did on December 10th, which was a plated service of well over 700 guests.
Oh wow!
So we did that. That was a good year, right? To end with a bang. So my kids, I said, okay, guys, don't worry. This is the end. This is the last one for mommy. So funny. It happened on a Sunday. Okay. Monday morning, I wake my son up for school. He goes, mommy, yes, no more events. But when it comes back to like spa days and vacations, once upon a time they were a thing. But even besides the business part of it, Once kids came, things slow down. But actually, my husband and I actually took time this year. We took a trip to Mexico.
Nice.
And we were like, let's do something for us.
Yeah.
And we took a trip to Mexico. I even put my emails on Do Not Disturb. I think you were probably part of that email list. Sorry, out of the country, because that was a week. No, that was your wedding. I was out of the country for your wedding. Yes, my sister was there. So, for example, we just said, you know what? This is the date we're going to go. Thy kingdom come.
I don't care about Stephanie.
Sorry, Stephanie. Here's the information you need. This is your point of contact. But, we actually finally this year, it's been, several years since we've tried, but we finally did. So now, everybody makes their new resolutions for the year and all that, but we're trying to do better in 2024, make more time for the kiddos, make more time for fun things,
Right.
And even when it comes to myself, for example, I'm like, okay, I can't do 3 weekends back to back of events, when I got kids or got family, got a husband. But it's going to be like, you know what? I'm going to put 2 weekends, maximum of 2 events in a month, and then strategize from there.
Because most of the kids' activities are on the weekends. Exactly. They have parties on the weekends. They have things to do on the weekends. So, yes, and then your business is on the weekend.
Exactly.
So, yes, that takes a lot of delegation and trust, right, of your staff that they would be able to handle it, and all of that's nice. Now let's switch gears to something you didn't prepare for. It's called a rapid fire round. I'm going to ask you some questions. There's no right or wrong answer. It's just Chidinma's answers. Okay? So rapid fire round.
All right.
The first one. What's the first thing you notice about someone when you meet them?
Their smile or lack thereof.
Okay, if you could raid one woman's closet, who would it be?
Ooh.
She's like, I have a few.
I have several. It would be my coworker. Her name is Tracy. Because she always has matching outfits with her purses, with her shoes. Everything matches. Yes, my coworker Tracy will be her closet.
Would you rather chase after healthy conflict or false harmony?
Ooh, that's a tough one. The first one.
Healthy conflict? Yeah. Let's crush this beef.
Yes, let's just crush it and be done and keep it moving.
Okay. Texting, voice noting, or talking?
Texting.
That's the mom talk.
Voice notes are annoying to me. Sorry.
Really?
Yeah. Especially when they're really long. My people from Nigeria always send long voice notes. I don't always listen to them. Sorry, guys. Now, I can do a speak to text, but if you're sending me a long voice note, no. Let's just text it out and be done. Mm-hmm.
That's a different answer, but good. Okay, what's the best piece of advice you've ever received from anybody? And who was it from?
Wow. The best piece of advice that I've ever received from someone is to meet people where they are. And it's so funny you just asked me that, because this thought just ran through my head last night when I remember I was driving past the intersection where I met this individual at. Okay, so this is what happened. No, this is what it was actually. It's a family friend, and I will not hesitate to mention her name, but it's a family friend. And this was during my traditional wedding back in 2014. My husband and I just celebrated 9 years traditionally wedded. And so, thank you. And so I have this family friend, I was trying to give her an invitation. So we're like, where can we meet? So we met at a Subway in the parking lot. We just met, right? And so we were talking, and she was just giving me some advice, marriage and all that, and then talk led to talk. She was like, one thing she's learned in life, meet people where they are, and that stuck. That was 10 years ago now, and it came to my mind just yesterday when I was driving past that same Subway. Her name is Dr. Nomso Opara. I'm gonna have to share this video with her so she can see it. She's a doctor. She's a doctor in nursing.
Okay.
So I'll have to share that with her, but that's one thing that has always stuck, and it goes with anybody. Meet people where they are. Don't meet them where you think they should be, who they are. And I'm the type of person that see past what anybody sees as an imperfection. You know, I'm gonna meet you where you're at, where I met you at. You know, not where other people see you at. You know.
That's a good one, because most times as people, like, we make assumptions about people. Like before, like you don't even know the story behind them, but you've already made up a story like, oh, she's a mean person, she's this, she's that. But your advice cuts through, like meet them where they're at, like give like open room to extend grace.
Exactly.
You know, maybe something is going on, maybe this, maybe that, but yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. All right, you did good. See, it wasn't bad, right? But okay, our goal here is to inspire the youth. It's for mainly our kids, because we live in a time where we have a lot of garbage they are watching on social media, a lot of mentors that shouldn't be mentoring people that they look up to. So celebrating, you know, men and women like you, they're actually doing something, putting value on the dignity of labor. So what advice do you have for the youths or young people? Or even people saying like, oh, this 9 to 5 is, you know, I'm stuck in this web. How can I break free? How can I start something, you know, for myself? What's your advice?
My advice, and this is advice I always give the young people, is find a hobby and turn that hobby into a hustle.
Oh.
But you need to be so good at your hobby for it to be worth the hustle. Because as I mentioned earlier, I'm a braider, and I was braiding hair yesterday. I'm a professional technically. I'm a career woman technically, and I'm pretty, you know, well endowed in my business. But I'm still not going to knock that hustle that I started when I was 10 years old, 9 years old, okay? Turn that hobby into a hustle. If you like doing makeup, go do, you know, makeup for $25, $50, whatever, because makeup is expensive these days. Do it cheap, perfect your craft, and then one day it might be, you know, if you like fashion, practice doing fashion shows. If you hear about different things going on in the area, do that. You like shoes? Hey, find a way to represent shoes, you know. Just turn that hobby into a hustle. But education is something to never let go of. There's 5 of us in my family, actually, in my immediate home, okay? There's 5 of us, and all 5 of us are educated. Now, we also have, my father has 3 children prior to marrying my mother. So under my father's umbrella, there's 8, and all 8 of us went to school. All 8 of us went to school, and majority of us have not just a bachelor's degree, but a master's as well. Don't let go of your education, because education is something you can always fall back on. Because even though you have your business, there's gonna be times when business is up and down, but you can always use your education to, you know, get a job somewhere, get a career somewhere, and then you're gonna be that much more respected. An educated person is that much more respected. So, hobby to hustle, but also get your education.
There you go. There you go. There you go. And there's always a difference too between someone educated doing a hustle or a business or whatever it is, and someone who did not go to school.
Yes.
There's always a difference.
Yep,
So
there is.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. And before we end the episode, make sure you go out and check their social media. You might just find that missing piece to your next event.
Yes.
Don't do it all by yourself. You cannot do it all by yourself. So go check them out. And that brings us to the end of the episode. Thank you so much, Chidinma. Like, thank you. It's like everyone is busy here, so I decided to grab her like before the year starts.
I'm glad you did.
It's January 2nd, see. So
I'm glad you did, because I actually had a meeting with one of my other partners in business so that we can plan for the year, and we had to reschedule our meeting. So I'm glad we made it today.
So thank you so much. And if you guys enjoyed this episode, please like, share, comment, and share this video with somebody that you might find it, you know, helpful. And I'll catch you in the next episode. Thank you.